Hey everyone, welcome to JoCo Outdoors. My name's Ken.
I'm Brian.
And today we're going to be sharing some scents that we use from Phillips Outdoors. So we're going to start out with telling you a little bit about Phillips Outdoors, and I'll let Brian tell you a little bit about them.
And before we go into that, if you're a first-time visitor here and you've not seen any of our videos, don't forget to go on there, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Definitely leave a comment below. We also have a bonus for you at the end. If you want to know what the best deer mineral not sold on the counters in the store, if you want to know what that is, stay tuned to the end of this video because we're going to show you what that is. I've been using Phillips Outdoors for about 3 years now, and I have found that this scent lure works. So we're going to talk about this scent lure today. If you really want to know a scent lure that does work, go check out Phillips Outdoors. We'll post a link to his website in the description below. PhillipsOutdoorsScents.com. He also has an eBay store. That's where I found him, was on eBay. But this is stuff that I've been using, and I will promise you, we swear by this. I swear by this. I've seen nothing but positive results out of this scent lure, and we have determined that it's going to be JoCo Outdoors official scent lure.
That's right.
Because we've tried several things over the counter at the stores, and I can't find anything that works better than this stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. First thing I want to talk about is we're going to talk about some scent attractant, the sweet corn scent. When you get this stuff and you spray this stuff, I'm telling you right now, it smells just like corn.
It does.
Okay, it smells exactly like corn. So if you've opened up a bag of corn and you've smelt that corn smell, and really even more if you have made corn.
What it reminds me of is when you take a can of corn out,
right? Exactly.
Dump it in a pot with a little butter. That smell. That's what it smells like.
Yeah, that's exactly what it smells like. And I've seen deer come into this before. I've sprayed it on when I was walking in trails before. I've taken this during early bow season, sprayed it on some of the leaves and stuff that I've walked in on. And I've really seen deer come into this, just sniffing the leaves, trying to find where that corn pile was, even though there wasn't a corn pile out there. So I can really say that this stuff works. You check this stuff out. I think it's really good for early bow season and everything, as long as they're feeding. Whenever they stop feeding, I don't know how well it would work, but then again, I don't know how well anything would work when they stop feeding and they go into full rut. We'll get into some of those scents here in just a minute. I'm going to leave it over to Ken to show you what's next.
Well, let me talk a little bit more about this, because this will work early bow season, but if you still have, if you're in an area where they still have corn, I was surprised to find this out. I did some research because you have some of those attractants that tell you this is super corn.
Yeah.
Okay, like I think one of them, 3-day harvest. They swear that they'll bring deer in within 3 days, but there's no really anything more than this.
Right.
So you don't need to buy a whole big thing of $20 thing of that. You can buy an $8 bottle of corn, buy $8 bag of corn, and this, and they'll draw them in. I'm telling you, it works. Like Brian said, I've had no corn on the ground at all. Just spray this out, and the deer come, because they have one of the best sniffers, other than a dog.
Absolutely.
They can smell this stuff from a mile away.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how far they bring them in. Now, Brian spoke about when they stop eating. Well, what he's talking about is not like they don't never stop eating. But there's a point in the season where in North Carolina we're allowed to put corn down. It's called baiting, and if you don't approve of that, I'm sorry, that's just the way we work it in North Carolina.
And it wouldn't be any different than if you had a cornfield out there.
We stay within the confines of the law, but at a point, if you have a corn pile, eventually the deer are going to stop eating corn.
Right.
And it's because of this creature right here that falls on the trees is acorns. They love acorns. That's their favorite browse during the fall. And I've seen them walk over a corn pile to get one nut. It's amazing. They'll literally step over it to go get the acorn that just fell out of the tree. And then they'll go look for more of those before they'll come back to that corn pile. So what he did is he was able to get an acorn scent, and this is a white acorn, which is one of the primary acorns that we have in North Carolina, white oak acorn. We have pin oaks, we have some of the other red oak, but the majority of the ones that are in the forest where we hunt is white oak. So I was really glad to see that he did a white oak scent. And if you smell this, if you've ever smelled an acorn, it smells very earthy, it smells very, and you wouldn't think of it when you smell corn. You're like, oh yeah, acorns just smell like bleh, until you break one open, and then it's got tremendous scent to it.
Right.
And the deer also can smell those from a mile away, but they know where the acorns are because they know that's where their normal browse is. So corn is foreign to them. Unless you have a giant cornfield, they don't know what corn is, but they'll eat it because it's there. Acorns they know, and literally they run for these. So I use this one right at the end of bow season, all the way through probably mid-November into December, because once all the acorns fall, you ain't gonna fool them with no acorn spray.
Right.
All right. But the corn spray then works again. So these two are the main scents that he provides that are non-deer organs or scent glands. These are the two main of them. And he also makes fish attractant as well. But we'll talk about that on another video, but I wanted to mention that too. So acorn scent and corn scent. And we'll put, like I said, we'll put the link to his store on there. And it's got all the prices. He's very transparent. It tells you exactly what everything costs before you even put it in the cart.
Right.
It's not one of the, like those some of those places where you have to put it in the cart before you see the price. That's a bunch of hooey. All right. So next one I'm going to go with my tried and true, my most favorite of all of his scents, mainly because I use it as a cover scent and it works. And this is the old slip top. Alright, what this is just regular old doe pee, not during the estrus cycle, just normal what they do outside that. And I found one thing about this. Well, I found several things about this, but it acts like a calming scent. Mm-hmm. So deer pee in the woods all the time, and so they expect that. So when you put this out, it's not a overwhelming smell like it does when you have the estrus. It's a very light smell, but I spray my boots and my pants in it because during the early season when we walk into our stand, you got vegetation, you got limbs, you got things that you have to worry about dodging. Well, if it happens to brush your clothes with your even if you don't put a scent on it, you're going to leave your human scent on them leaves, and then the deer are going to smell that. Well, by putting this on your clothes, when you walk down, if you hit a branch or you hit some brush, it's leaving that scent on there instead of yours, and it works. And also, in the stand, all right, twice this year. Well, actually, 3 times. Sorry, 3 times, because Brian had the same experience as well. My first 2 times, all right, I had this, I put this on my pants, my boots, and I was sitting in the stand. This was on the day after opening day, and the wind was blowing at my back. I had 6 doe come into the area where I was at. Never even put their nose up to see if they smelled something odd. And it was a testament to them. Not fox pee, not raccoon urine, nothing of that, because those things are odd to deer, even though those are deer smell themselves. Okay, so this stuff works. So second one happened. So I shot a deer there. That's the one I didn't harvest. I think we talked about that before, mainly because of a faulty broadhead. If you want to see a little bit more of that, check out my broadhead review on the NAP Spitfire.
Check it
we'll
out.
We'll link it right here. So yeah. Second time, same thing. Wind's at my back. Had 4 different does come in. Never even gave me a second thought. Never looked at me. Never looked at anything. The third time, I had a little doe come in, and the wind wasn't really blowing that much. It was actually a lingering wind, which is the worst situation you could possibly have because your scent just kind of it doesn't dispel with the wind. It just kind of hangs out. Well, she was in the area, and I was watching her. She was too small to shoot, but I was just watching her, and about probably towards the 15 minutes she was there, all of a sudden she stuck her nose up in the air, started sniffing, and then she put her head back down and went back to doing what she was doing, and then she just meandered off. What she smelled was this, and I guarantee you what she was smelling, you're trying to figure out why it was up in the air instead of on the ground. So,
yeah.
but it works.
What's that deer doing up in the trees?
Exactly. I'm telling you, this stuff works. I will swear to it, and I will never ever buy another thing from the over-counter store because I know this works, and it will work all season long.
Yep.
Even during the rut, this still works because
it's great. It's
no
great
still
coverage. One, I know for sure that was God's grace right there, because you guys have to understand something. This stuff right here is only going to work if it's God's will for it to
that's
work.
right.
But I can tell you, God gave Phillips Outdoors the thought to create this stuff because this stuff works. Okay? And so I can say that it was God's will for this to work as cover scent that day. And God showed Pop over here that if we're gonna buy any kind of scent lure, cover scent, anything like that, we're gonna buy Phillips Outdoors because Phillips Outdoors works. Steve Phillips is a great Christian person. We support him 100%. Support him for everything that he's doing. No, he doesn't pay us for this, but look, his stuff works. If his stuff didn't work, I wouldn't be telling you that it works.
That's right.
I would be telling you the opposite if it didn't work. But his stuff works, and we hope to see his business grow. We just try to support our local people. I moved up here from Georgia. I was using this whenever I was down in Georgia. Steve is from Marietta, Georgia, and that's where he makes all this stuff at, is down there in Marietta. So I was like, okay, let me get it, try my local person out, see how well it works, and God really showed me something there. So you guys won't go wrong with that. All right, so next, if you guys are getting in the rut, let me grab this one. If you're getting in the rut, everybody knows during a rut, if you're going to use a scent, you're going to use a doe estrus or a doe in heat or something like that. Well, here is the doe in heat right here. Doe in Heat by Phillips Outdoors. Now, you say, well, why do you have that huge bottle? Because I take this bottle and I put it in a dripper and I let it drip. I've been dripper hunting for about the last 3 years, and I've seen a lot of success with it. I can tell you that this scent right here definitely pulls the deer in. I've seen a lot of deer come on camera. To be honest with you guys, I've not had the pleasure to go out and harvest a deer because every time they're out during the daytime, according to my cameras that I've had in times past, I'm at work. Just like every other hunter is. When the buck is out there, you're at work, 9 o'clock in the morning. So, but this stuff, he gets all these from the deer farm, and this stuff was meant to be used during the rut.
Right.
Okay, the pre-rut, the rut, the full rut, and the post-rut. Okay, and this stuff works. It is all natural stuff. Now, for you guys that are watching that are in states and say, well, hey, I can't use all natural scents here. Well, that's fine, because he makes synthetic scents as well for the states that won't allow all natural scents. Doe in Heat, I can tell you, you're not going to find something. You grab that stuff over the counter and you compare it to the smell of this, and you're going to say, yeah, I need to go with the Doe in Heat from Phillips Outdoors.
All right, so one thing you mentioned is, why you got a bottle so big? I have a bottle so big because this is how he sells it. All right, so I want you to take this into account. All right, so this is a 18-ounce bottle. Yep. All right, so go to your big box store.
Yep.
Go to Walmart. Go to all those places and go see what a bottle of Tink 69 or whatever your variety of doe estrus you want to use is. All right, it's 4 ounces, if that big. Sometimes they're only 2 ounces. Mm-hmm. They cost between $6 to $8 for the little smally bottles, and the big ones go up to $10.
Yeah, well, the last time we were in the store, we saw the 4 ounce bottle.
Yeah, 4 ounce bottle of
it was the scrape It was a scrape.
Power scrape.
Power scrape. Yeah, power scrape.
Power scrape. Yeah.
And then what was the Wildlife Research Center? The scrape.
Oh, that's the I
So-
don't remember what that. But anyway.
So we saw that stuff, and I'm not gonna lie to you. The price on that stuff for the 4-ounce bottle and those that are, I'm not dissing them. I'm not saying that they're bad brands, but the 4-ounce bottle of that stuff over the counter was like $13, $15.
Yeah. All right, so this big bottle, 18 ounces. Take a guess how much?
I think this 18-ounce bottle right
I
here,
want to say it was 20.
between $20 and $25.
Yeah, I think it was $24. $24. So if you do the math on 18 ounces for $24 versus 4 ounces for $13,
Right.
the decision is easy.
Right.
So I know this works. I believe in it, and I know that I can trust him to not put any goat urine in here like
Right.
one of the other companies, the big companies, did a couple
Right.
years ago. I'll testify by this. It works. All of his stuff is all natural, and like you said, he does make synthetic ones for places that can't use all natural scents.
And the buck that I harvest, I've got a story for you guys that will include this, but I want to come back to that story because we've got another scent here that's included in that story. When we get to my next one that I'm going to talk about, I will tell you the story that's going to include that one and this one of the buck that I was unable to retrieve. I had a good shot on him, was unable to retrieve him. Happened when I first started using this, and
Alright, so now, my next scent that I use during the bow season, because these guys always exist. They never are not in the woods, and that is dominant buck. Alright, so this is dominant buck urine. It comes from the tarsal gland from a deer, a dominant buck. So he finds the oldest buck on the farm, and he harvests the urine from the tarsal gland for the oldest dominant buck. So that's what this scent is. So I use this one because if you're trying to get the bucks, if you've ever been hunting for a while, you notice that all the bucks are in bachelor parties at the beginning of the season, all the way into probably just before the rut starts. Well, they all want to be the dominant buck.
right.
So if you've got a urine out there that's saying they're dominant buck, especially if it's a dominant buck that says, hey, he sees this as a challenge to his territory. And this is how you will draw in bucks to the early season during the bow season. Because a lot of times they won't come in with the does like you count on during the rut. So I have seen this work. I didn't never get a shot at one, but I put this in a little bottle out away from the stand just because I was wanting to see how the attractant would work. And I had a little 4-pointer walk right up to here, stuck his nose right into the bottle, and then walked back out to the thing. I guess it scared him. I don't know. Just made me say, oh, well, that deer's smell is more potent than mine. So I don't know, but I can tell you that the deer do come to it. And hopefully we'll be able to have some stories later on this season
Right.
about some harvests we made with these particular ones. That's just something to come.
And I can tell you, I've been using this dominant buck lure again for the last 3 years. We've actually got pictures on the property this year of pretty mature bucks coming to our mock scrape.
Oh, mock scrape. That's I forgot about that.
I use this in a mock scrape, and that mock scrape, every time I go check it, it's clean. I go check it to see if I need to refill my dripper, because I'll find a tree that's got limbs that's roughly about 4 to 5 feet tall. I'll hang a dripper on it, create a mock scrape below. We have so that the deer's got licking branches and everything. In the future, we'll show you how to create a mock. We've got pictures, and we'll take a look at some of these pictures. Before we take a look at these pictures, understand this. Yes, they are at night. And you say, well, the dripper is only supposed to drip during the daytime to bring the bucks in during the daytime. That is correct. However, when deer are moving at night, that dripper may not be dripping at night, but the scent is still in that
Correct.
scrape.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we look at these pictures, understand these pictures are at night, but just as soon as they start moving during the day, I guarantee you we're going to have pictures of these deer during the daytime coming to these scrapes. So we're going to stop, we're going to take a look at some of these pictures real quick and show you the type of mature bucks we have coming to this stuff right here. Again, it is at night, but we have to remember that scent is in that mock scrape day and night.
And it's in the ground. It soaks into the ground. Right. So it's not like it just dissipates. It's there.
Right. So let's take a picture, or let's take a look at these pictures real quick, and then we'll get back on here.
All right. Well, thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed those pictures. I know we were really excited when we saw them because this is the first year we've hunted this particular property, and seeing the mature deer on there, that'll get you blood pumping. All right, so I'm gonna let him go ahead and rock on with this next one because that's one he wanted to show you with the the next one for the rut.
So here is something. Look, I'm gonna do a reveal on these things. I'm gonna hide the label for you and everything, but you'll see some brands have this type of scent on the over the counter. It's a buck that and it's their urine whenever the butt is in full rut and everything. I think Code Blue makes something by that. Never used it before, but I have used this, and it's called Ruttin' Buck. This stuff right here, you open this stuff up. Any redneck knows what a courtesy sniff is. When you open this stuff up right here, you're going to call your best friend and you're going to say, hey, come over to the house. I got something for you to smell. And of course, any redneck's going to know something to smell. Yeah, I got to go because my curiosity's got me. This is going to be your courtesy sniff. And when you sniff that, you're going to be shaking your head and you're going to be lucky if you get it out of your nostril hairs. This stuff is strong.
It's potent.
But let me tell you something about this. When I first started using this product, I had both of these out. I had this in a scent bomb about 40 yards from my stand, and I had this in a scent bomb about 40 yards from my stand, but I had this in a scent bomb on the trail that I walked in on, because the trail I walked in on, my climber was down in a little holler, and the trail I walked in on gave me perfect shooting angles and ranges and everything. And so I put this in a scent bomb and put it on the trail that I walked in on. Well, I had a buck, good mature buck, come out, walk right up to this scent bomb right here, and stuck his nose all inside that scent bomb. I'm talking about stuck his nose in it, and I had to refill that scent bomb because he knocked it off. Okay, so again, the doe in heat works. Okay, I pull my gun up to get ready to shoot him, and he turns and he starts walking. Well, he started walking away and back toward my left where he was walking at. I didn't have any shots, and I said, this deer is gonna leave and I'm not gonna have a shot on him. And then it was God's will for this stuff to work, because that deer, that buck, stopped dead in his tracks. And I kid you not, he stopped dead in his tracks. He turned back around and he walked back down that trail that I walked in, and he stuck his nose right inside this ruttin' buck lure. He stuck his nose right inside it, and when he did, I shot him, and I shot him in the liver. Everybody knows that a liver shot, it can take a deer up to 12 hours to die with a liver shot. I had not known that I shot him in the liver. I was unable to retrieve that deer, unfortunately, because I waited for 2 hours, and I got down, and there were some dogs in the woods, and the dogs ended up running the deer off. He wasn't quite dead yet, but he was laying down. He was bedded down. He was trying to die. And the two dogs ran him off, and they kept running him so far back in the woods that I couldn't track him by myself, and I didn't have anybody that had a dog to track him down with. So, unfortunately, I was unable to actually harvest that buck, but I can tell you right now, based off of that experience, that's what made me a believer of this right here. That's when God showed me, hey, this is the stuff that you need to be using. If you're going to use it, if you're going to be using anything, you need to be using this stuff right here. Ruttin' buck works. Doe in heat works. All this stuff works right here, guys. We would not.
I wouldn't be sitting here telling you. I wouldn't waste my time talking about this if it didn't work. Right. So owner, and we're doing this to inform you about
Right. Because
when you go buy this stuff, because this stuff is expensive. When you get into hunting season, one of the things my wife always pushes back on me about is how much money I'm spending on attractants for the deer season.
Right.
And she's right. I'm not going to say she's wrong, because this stuff is expensive. So we try to get the best value, and you want to get the stuff not only that's value, but that works.
Right.
So you don't have to continue to try to hunt and peck and figure out what to go with. And that's what I did for many years, trying to try everybody's stuff, trying to do this, that, and the other. And I've had no success. I've had success with all of these so far.
Absolutely.
All right. So next one I want to bring up is the next one in the mix, and this is the it's another buck scent, but this one he calls it Buck and Sirius, and this is the interdigital gland and the tarsal gland mixed together. It's called Buck and Sirius. Now, Ryan uses the dominant buck lure in his dripper. I run Buck and Sirius in mine, and I've seen similar ways that this has worked. Now, I haven't run it this year because my drippers, they got absconded. So I don't have any drippers, so I haven't run this yet. But in the past, the problem I had with this, and it's worked, the problem I have is we've never hunted in an area where it wasn't sandy. That's one of the problems with our dirt out here in this area is it's very sandy, and that's one thing, if this drips on sandy dirt, it will dissipate. It won't hang around, and it didn't work out really well. But I've used this on my leaves this year, spraying it on leaves as I've walked in, and I've had deer walk right down the same trail I just walked down, sniffing leaves. I even had one deer ate every leaf on the tree that I walked down, and it was amazing to see how one little, couple little sprays of this works. And when I get in the stand, what I'll usually do is I'll spray a tree or two around me, just a little spray, not a lot, because you don't want this to be an overbearing scent. You just want it to be a attracting scent, like a deer came past and did this. But what this does, the interdigital gland, is specifically when they're digging at the ground, it's that gland between their foot. So works great for drippers.
And he calls it the Bonehead Trophy Buck Lure.
Bonehead Trophy Buck Lure. I mean, it works. It works. I can tell you, I have seen it work. I have not seen it personally, but I've watched people using this on his website.
Yeah.
People have shot bucks on his website using this exclusively and killed some big bucks.
And if you go check out his Facebook page, Phillips Outdoors Facebook page, you will see videos on there of guys that, I spray this on my licking branches and everything. And I've got videos of deer going on there and licking the leaves and rubbing their antlers in the branches and stuff. If you go on his Facebook page, he has videos of the guys doing that too. Now, I also, whenever I make a mock scrape, I also spray this in the mock scrape
in the mock scrape
and
on the ground.
Allow this to drip on top of that, and then I freshen it up every time I go out there. I spray this back in there. I don't know anything else. I've tried to research and see if anybody else has anything like this out there. And as far as I know, this is an exclusive to Phillips Outdoors.
I haven't found anything remotely close to this.
So
nothing.
And this stuff right here works. This is what attracted me to his website. This is what attracted me to all of his product, was this right here. And I saw how well this works, and then I started using all this other stuff. So next, I'm going to talk to you guys about something new that I'm trying out this year. And it's called the Buck and Sirius Bow Hunter Mating Party Full Rut, and this was designed to make it smell like you have a full rut mating party coming through your area. Okay, he takes rutting buck and doe and heat, and then secretions from the glands, mixes it all in here, so that it smells like you have a full rut mating party coming through your area. And the bottles that he puts this stuff in, really like these bottles because they just drop down like that, and then you can spray it. It's got the lock on it so it doesn't spray in your bag and everything. Again, I don't have a whole lot of experience with this stuff because it's new. I'm trying it this year. I did put some out the other night, and I can tell you something right now. This stuff is strong. I'm talking about strong.
It's not a sniff test.
It is not. No.
It'll knock you.
It is not a sniff test. When I sprayed some on some leaves, and I'm like, holy cow, I don't know if I can set up here.
I can tell you right now, don't spray this on your clothes if you want to be able to go back in the house.
Right.
Your wife will not let you in the house with this on your clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
Son,
So I'm excited about this. You know, I've actually created 2 scent bombs out of this. I've got 2 scent bombs that I've put, you know, some of this fluid in, and I've got 2 12-inch scent wicks, one for this one and one for this one. And that's going to be the scent that I use during the rut this year. So hopefully we will have some videos in the near future as the rut kicks in up here.
Yeah, we're right on the beginning of the, probably right at the last part of the pre-rut, about to get into the full rut.
Yep.
So right in North Carolina, and one thing about it, and the rut happens every year, the same time every year, everywhere. So it's not related on moon or weather. The bucks start dogging does the same time every year. You can count on it. You can set your clock to it. So right now in North Carolina, we are just at the pre-rut started a week ago. We're just at the end of the pre-rut. We're about to get into full rut. And I've already had some of my friends talking about they've already seen bucks dogging does. So I know it's about that time. So what this smells like is what you would smell as if a buck was dogging a doe coming through the woods. That's exactly what's going to smell. You got an estrus doe being pushed by a breeding buck, and that's what that's supposed to replicate.
Right.
Right.
And you know, again, hopefully we'll have some videos of us shooting some mature bucks.
We have some big bucks on our property. Big bucks.
We'll try to put some of those pictures up of the mature bucks that we have at the end of this video too.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to putting one of those on the wall.
Absolutely.
But one thing to tell you about me and Brian both, we're in the same boat. We have never killed a big buck. The biggest buck I've killed was a 4-pointer. That was a couple years ago. I've killed cow horns. I've killed some big body cow horns, but I've never killed a big buck.
Right.
And one reason, I'll just give you a little bit of background about myself. I don't hunt antlers. I'm a meat hunter. I've killed a bazillion does. But over the last few years, because I've been on a property that had big bucks, it kind of got me excited to start hunting these big bucks. So hopefully we're going to be able to, at least one of us will get the bag one, maybe both of us will get the bag one.
So.
And that would be awesome. All right, so the next one I'm going to bring to you, this is not a deer scent. This is not a cover scent. This is an attractant scent.
Right.
This is called peanut bark lure. This is a liquid form of the peanut bark lure. And there on the thing it says deer attractant, peanuts. This has peanuts in it. And deer like corn, yes. They will knock you over to find peanuts, which is really odd because peanuts grow underneath the ground.
Right.
So I don't know how they really know what peanuts taste like.
Well, their sniffers are so well.
Their sniffers are good. They
can
smell them peanuts under the ground. Well, this stuff, when you smell it, it smells like you just took your finger and stuck it in a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, absolutely.
It smells exactly like that. It has a little bit of corn smell mixed into it, but the predominant smell of this is peanuts. And you can use this. What I use this for is I spray this on my corn piles. So I put a corn pile out there, and then I'll spray this down because I figure if they like corn and they like peanuts, I'm going to get a double attractant. And I have seen deer over putting a 50-pound bag of corn out there, and over 3 days, so many deer came that they ate every kernel of corn off that pile after I put this on there. Never have had that happen before until I started putting this there. So talk about bring them in quick. Right here, this stuff is the bomb. It is a liquid form. Comes in a blue bottle like this, and on the front it says a hunter's mobile food plot in a bottle. Right there, bam. So if you're in an area where you can't put a food plot or you can't use corn, there is no law. I've looked it up. There's no law in any area that says you can't spray this stuff on the ground. because it's not food. It's not a food grade product, which is not considered bait. This is just a scent, just like this is and this is and this is. So here again, so with the corn and the acorn, and this one, you could hunt in a state that does not allow baiting and be perfectly fine.
You're going to use it as cover.
Because you're using it as cover scent. So, if you spray peanut bark lure on a limb and the deer eats the limb was already there. You didn't add anything to it. So I can tell you, I can attest to you, I've checked it out, I've called. I know there's 2 states that I know of. Tennessee's one of them. That's local. That I called the game warden office and asked them specifically about this. I explained to him what it was. I asked him specifically about it, and he said, "We have no issue with that because it's not baiting." So I can tell you it works. It works like a champ, and I love the smell of it. And what's cool is when the wind switches and you've sprayed that in a corn pile and it blows that peanut smell back to you. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely very potent and very strong.
It is very strong.
All right, so we told you guys that we had a bonus for you at the end, and we told you guys we were going to tell you what the #1 deer mineral is that you cannot find bought over the counter inside stores. The only place I know that you're going to be able to buy this is in Steve Phillips Outdoors, his Phillips Outdoors store. If you go to Marietta, maybe you can meet up with him.
He does not sell it in any store. There's no Academy, Best Pro Shop, none of those places, and even the mom and pop places still aren't carrying his stuff yet. So you still cannot go buy it over the counter.
So this stuff you're going to find on his website and then his eBay store.
Yeah, that's it.
And this stuff is the peanut bark deer mineral. I'm gonna read some of it to you. It's peanut bark deer minerals. Here's what it says. It says bring in the wildlife. So it's not just gonna bring in deer. It's gonna attract raccoons. It's gonna attract turkeys. It's gonna attract it's gonna attract other kind of wildlife that like
hogs.
Yep, exactly. Hogs. That was my next one. Yep. That like peanuts. Okay. This thing is full of protein. We all know that protein is what's gonna help deer antlers grow. Okay, they get a lot of protein. This was designed to help grow large antlers on mature bucks, and so it also contains roasted peanuts, vitamins A, B, D, and E, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, salt, magnesium, manganese, cobalt, copper, iodine, selenium. Selenium is a key in this ingredient right here because that is what keeps bringing them back. Zinc, sodium, and then the peanut aroma. Absolutely, this stuff right here, we can look, and we're going to show you guys some pictures right here in just a second. But we have pictures of deer going to these licking spots and rooting up dead stumps that we've poured this stuff out on. Here's the only downfall. If you have sandy soil in your state, like we do here, and you're hunting on sandy soil property, this stuff's probably not going to work too well for you because it's just going to sink down into that sand. Deer might come to it a little bit. They might try to dig it up a little bit, but you know how sand is. You dig it up and it falls right back. You dig it up and it falls right back. So eventually that sand's just going to cover this stuff up. With anybody that has hunted in hardwoods and knows that you have a mixture of subsoil, clay, a little bit of sand, just that natural dirt where oaks grow and where hardwoods grow. That type of sand. You pour this stuff out there and I promise you the deer are going to be digging holes. But I'm going to tell you something. For this not to be sold in the stores over the counters, this is the absolute best, #1 deer mineral that you will buy. I promise you that. Because this stuff right here, I've got pictures of deer rooting up. The first time I ever used this stuff, I had a 4 gigabyte memory card in my trail camera. And that card was filled up 2 hours. It filled up in 2 hours because the deer would come up, they would lick the spot, they would dig, they would walk away, and then they'd get back to the tree line and they would stop and they would turn around and come right back. This stuff keeps bringing them back. So I promise you, you will not go wrong with this stuff. Try it out. Again, like I said, if you have sandy soil's not going to really be good for hardly any of this stuff. Hardly anything that you put out there in sandy soil. It doesn't matter whether it's Phillips Outdoors or some other brand. Sandy soil's not going to be good for any kind of brand like this right here.
All right, so last thing we're going to put, and I want to mention about this stuff is, we talked about selenium. Why is selenium so important? And why, I don't know why it's not in every single deer mineral out there. All right, so what is selenium? Well, selenium is utilized specifically for antler growth. Head and Shoulders puts it in their shampoos to help with follicle growth.
Right.
It is designed specifically, it is a natural occurring thing, selenium. It is designed for antler growth. So this helps in the off season. Using this, you don't just have to use this during regular season, you use this during the whole entire year. Give them the minerals they need so you build those big racks, get those strong racks for your deer. And one other thing I want to mention about this, so in North Carolina we can hunt bear with over baited sites, but they cannot be processed bait. Bam.
Yeah, there you go.
There's an unprocessed,
right there.
and bear love peanuts.
Yep.
So you want to hunt bear in North Carolina? There's your unprocessed mineral right there. I've seen it happen. I saw a video the other day of a guy use the same stuff, and a bear, within 3 hours of him putting it out, a bear came into it, and he harvested the bear. So I'm gonna tell you right now, this stuff works. It's a testament to Phillips Outdoors how well his products work across the line. Every single thing that he makes is very well, and like Brian said, it's by the grace of God that happens, because he is a very godly man. He's a Christian man, and I can tell you a little bit about him. I saw a post on Facebook the other day, and I think this is probably how he runs. He was about to go out in the woods, and an order came in.
Yep. He
canceled his hunting trip to fill an order.
Yep.
So he will back his stuff 100%. You know, I'm telling you, it works. I have never had any of this stuff fail, and I know confidence that he's not going to put something in here that is not of a deer.
Yeah, no, I mean,
anything else you want to add?
No, I agree with that. We're going to show you guys some pictures real quick of this stuff, just so you can see. We've got a picture of an old rotted tree that we poured this out on. We've got a picture of an old rotted stump that we poured this out on. And you guys really just, take a look at these pictures and see how much this thing has been dug up. And make your own judgment for it. Go visit him at his store. Let's take a look at those pictures real quick.
Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed those. And if you have any more questions about this stuff, please ask in the comments. Like I said, we're not sponsored by Phillips Outdoors. We don't get a cent from him. I don't get a cent or a dime from him. We don't get nothing from him for free. And this is a testament to why I would still go out and talk about his product. I get nothing from this except for content for our video. But other than that, this is it. So try them out, and I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed.
Again, go check out his links in the description below at phillipsoutdoorscents.com. We'll put a link to that down there, and we'll also put a link to his eBay store. Yeah. Y'all go check him out. Go read some of this. Go read the descriptions on this stuff. Check out reviews. Go check him out on his Facebook page at Phillips Outdoors on Facebook. Again, if you like this video, go click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment below. Tell us what you thought about it. If you have experience with these scents, let us know what your experience is. Hit the notification bell so you get all the new videos that we post up. We'll be posting up videos every Monday at 8 a.m. As of right now, we thank you guys. We love you guys. And remember, this is God's country.